Uh, Typically, whenever I like want to talk about stuff like this, DBL is like the first option. So there's no way now I'm not about to take it. Uh, the game is horrible. Not more so under the fact that the game has like pretty shitty management and is just not fun in general, but there's a lot of unfinished promises from the devs. But what I really like focusing on is the characters, since that is supposed to be like the whole like meat and bones of the game. But the game has such little balance that literally any character at any point can just become god and then throw out everything that's within the top like five characters. Like that fat fuck Gohan. Every single person that I've ever known has called that game Gohan Ball Legends one way or another, because that piece of shit always becomes the top character in like every fucking release he's ever gotten. Uh, well, what's some good examples? Fucking Father Son Kamehameha Gohan, Red LF, fucking insane on release, one of the best LFs to come out. And then the fat bastard got a Zenkai, and his blast cards were so goddamn potent that you could just kill off of like two of them. You didn't even have to play the fucking game. This was before we even had like competitive standpoints. We just pressed cards and we fucking won. And God forbid the characters he was getting run with too. What the fuck was it? Blue? No, green LF, blue Vegito, and fucking who the fuck else used to got run back then? Fucking Beerus, green Beerus. No amount of like saving could get anyone out of that hellscape. That was that piece of shit rat. And then like a whole while later, we get what's the like follow up unit from them? After he got a Zenkai, we got like some relative fodder, blue Super Saiyan Gohan, blue Bojack Gohan, the Gohan with Piccolo Cyst, and then Revival Purple LF Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from Bojack movie. For a movie hero's character, he pulled so much weight, it was fucking unbelievable. And that's a bad thing, too. This was still in the era before we had Ultra Gogeta Blue, and that doesn't make sense. That makes no goddamn sense how a character made to be a like standalone banner unit is getting like more, if not better, treatment than an actual fucking ultra. This is the one they want you to spend your money on. But disregarding that little asshole, there was just like two, three more like side Gohans. Future Gohan LF, not a bad unit. Honestly, really, really good, but he fell out of meta until he got his Zenkai recently, which is a fucking powerhouse for no reason. Actually, no, there is a reason. He's a fucking Gohan unit. Uh, but what really started the end days was that piece of shit LF Blue Beast Gohan. There is no greater like pain in my soul than the good old days when that motherfucker just fresh released early like 2023. God, I had never felt so miserable playing a fucking mobile game. You could just go queue into PvP so you can get your like daily rewards or whatever the fuck. Queue into a match instantaneously. Blue Beast Gohan, Ultra Gogeta Blue, tag Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta from Broly movie. There was nothing saving anybody from that exact team comp. There wasn't even any like stand-ins for the team. It was that exact team every single time, copy pasted among like 70 different goddamn accounts, and each and every one of them played the same. It didn't matter which character they swapped out to, you would be at a disadvantage. If you hit one of their characters, but they swap in with a blast card, oh well, there goes Gogeta, auto counter for this fucking like blast gauge, instant blue card into it too, so your character is just getting sniped out of the air like a fucking hovercraft. And God forbid if Gogeta was inactive, because you would have just gotten like blast cover changed by the tags. So there was no saving anybody. Not even talking about Beast Gohan himself. His blue card could one shot if you had a full gauge, which wasn't hard to pull off, neither, mind you. And he is still a viable unit without a Zenkai like 2.5 fucking years later. That by itself should be a testament to how much of a piece of shit he is. And then not even a year later, they drop another LF Beast Gohan, but this time he's red. And the only reason that's notable is because the last Ultra we got before him was yellow. There's a color spectrum in DBL, and red beats yellow. He was made to counterpick, but he was such a strong offensive beast of a character that he not only broke out of his meta, but ran that motherfucker for like the latter half of a year off of just his base release alone. That much is a goddamn testament to time. And then the end days happened. My glorious goat, Super Saiyan God Goku, LF, screamed in the car when that motherfucker showed up, and then immediately followed up Boo Saga, LF Purple Ultimate Gohan. Never in all of my goddamn days have I ever seen a Gohan unit that has pissed me off more than him. Actually, no. There is another Gohan unit that pisses me off more than him, but I can't speak on his pile. Not yet, at least. Because ooh, he comes later in this story. I got a lot to fucking say about him. But this purple Gohan started off not bad. In his own little way, he just like controlled the battlefield. You probably see him in back section benching, just doing like fuck all. But the moment his gauge was out, there was nothing stopping him. Insane coverage. You can cover change him on forward charging blue cards for no goddamn reason, which made the only Ultra that could do that, Ultra Broly, completely fucking inept. He had a long range blue card that just took priority over literally everything. He debuffed like a motherfucker. It was a horrible standpoint. And even worse, Godku was green. This Gohan is purple. Purple beats green. Godku was literally smited from the start. He didn't even get out of his own meta before they had to make a platinum equipment for him to buff his stats to make him runnable in any capacity. They fumbled him worse than like half the fucking Vegeta units in this game. That is horrible. But it isn't as horrible as that little sack of shit Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Green Gohan. Nothing in all of my days has genuinely compared to the amount of slog it feels to play against that motherfucker. Back when he was at his peak, there was nothing you could do to stop him. There wasn't anything anybody could do to stop him, actually, because if you fought him, you were literally just losing the game. He had an auto counter for strike cards. His blue card had the same properties as like two other characters, which is if your opponent is attacking and you use that blue card while they're coming to attack, yours automatically takes priority, traps them in a cutscene, and drops multiplied damage than what it would have if it didn't activate the cutscene. So your opponent was literally encouraged to not play the game, which is a very insane statement considering the only thing you can do with these people is PvP or co-op, one mode each, absolutely nothing else in between. So encouraging people to not play the game, very interesting choice of options here. But what ends up being a little bit more interesting is the fact that this piece of shit has an AoE green, which means, you know, I'll paint you a little scenario so you can really understand how stupid this shit is. Imagine you're fighting like just some random guy. You go in for a haymaker. This guy pulls out like a fucking Colt 95 and drops 13 loads into your chest. You're barely holding on. You still got something left to give, but you just like come in like a little bit, try and close some distance so you can get some sort of lead on this guy, and he immediately proceeds to grab you by the chest, fling you into a wall, and then dump another 13 rounds into your chest and kill you on the spot. Practically the exact same treatment you would get with this ultra piece of shit. And nobody liked him. Everyone summoned for him, only a small majority got him. And that small majority has been feasting because this motherfucker never died out of meta. He can still be run in current day. This is a unit that dropped years ago. Years. This motherfucker came out like, when the fuck was this? Like 2024, like early 2024 to late 2023. Like everyone was pissed. Everyone wanted justice. And what happened? We did not get not one bit of justice in the goddamn slightest. We wanted justice. We got slavery practically, because our attempt to get this little rat gone was to pray to God and see what he came up with. And what God ended up coming up with was LF Super 17. Now, I can vouch for this man. I summoned for him and I got him twice. And even I was disgusted to play him. And he's a masochist. That should be like the thing I'm supposed to laugh at. But no, he's just a fucking slug. I'll run you through another example, just right off the bat, so you can really hammer in how interesting his kit is. Imagine you're going into a paintball fight. You see your little friends come around the corner, and you're like, okay, yeah, let me splatter this guy. This is gonna be like the easiest shot ever. This guy immediately sees your paintball, opens his arms wide, takes the shot, which completely empties your entire gun, and then proceeds to spray you with an entire mag dump, and then shoot you 37 times in the chest with a cold 95. So practically, if you tap attacked, if you tap blasted, if you blast attacked, if you did any sort of blast in his direction, blue card or not, he would absorb it. And that would not only reduce your advantage gauge to 0, strip you of using any cards for a certain amount of time, but would also lock you in. So practically, if you hit him and he absorbs the attack, you sit there like a good boy and you take an ultimate directly to the face and you can't do jack shit about it. And if that wasn't cute enough, his blast cards, which is the main type of card that he gets drawn to him at all times, gets multiplied by like 3 times when you hit this, and it doesn't have a cap either. If you just keep doing it and you keep getting lucky, you just get to keep doing it forever. They just never get to play the game. 9 times out of 10 in any Super 17 match that I ever got to play, I timed people out faster than they had the chance to die if they weren't actively trying to die in front of me. That was a goddamn issue. What a bigger issue was the fact that this little silly guy, this silly little guy, he didn't spell the end times. The end times really started with Radhon, but everything started going downhill in that general time frame, because after him, fast forward just a teensy little bit, and we got like some of the most like meta oppressive characters in history. Fucking the, what was it, 7th anniversary fusions. You had Gogeta Blue, who honestly wasn't the worst, but if you were running any sort of ultra character or anyone with a counter gauge, they couldn't do shit, because his whole gimmick is if you chain together strike arts, you just get to bypass those effects. very good for literally anyone using that character, but he wasn't meta viable enough, so he got knocked out. But the others, Super Vegito, that motherfucker never got knocked out of meta because their whole thing is very, very simple. TLDR, you play the game with them. You have enough resources to spawn in an airstrike. Can you spawn in the airstrike? Yes. Your opponent now has to guess what the coordinates are, and if they guess the coordinates, they can defuse it. But you're running Super Vegito. So even if they do defuse it, you counter their defusal and you hit them with it anyways. Mind you, 9 times out of 10, this is going to kill your opponent's character. Not unless they have like endure, last man standing or some shit like that. Like unless they have something that explicitly states when HP goes to 0, stay at 1 HP, or like when HP drops to like a certain amount, regain this much HP or some shit along those lines. Like unless your character specifically has that boundary set inside of them, then they're going to die to this. 9 times out of 10, it would remove endurance effects anyways. So you would just die for the sake of dying, and there wasn't jack shit you could do about it. Add on the fact that he was literally a god of combos because you could just crank out like what 99 combos, 99 hit combos, like it was fucking nothing. This was a big thing at that point in time. The only other character that could like consistently pull that off was Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku. And that is bad. That's very, very bad because his whole thing was based on getting combo potential. They had to make a whole kit for that man specifically so he can manage that. They didn't have to do shit for Super Vegito. They just dropped like the most anniversary ass kit ever, let that motherfucker ride, and he dominated meta for so long that he's still like runnable bare minimum today. Now, runnable today isn't much of a big standard, considering that 9 times out of 10, you're going to see like triple ultra teams because no other character is going to compete with the genuine, like, game changing feats these ultras bring to the table. Because you could have as many AoE greens or as many endurances as you want. Nothing is going to compare to the shit like Ultra Super Saiyan Goku, how he can just prevent one of your characters from dying. If they die, no, the fuck they didn't, actually. And he auto swaps in when he does this too, so you can just kill your opponent the moment they get to kill any one of your units. It doesn't make sense, but he just gets it. And then God forbid Ultra Full Power Frieza over here with a full screen beam that combos into every single one of his arts that he can use at any time at all. So you can only imagine how goddamn beautiful that game would go. But no. We just had to have something objectively worse. A la Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Ultra. There is not a goddamn thing that would ever make me want to like genuinely respect this fucking cretin of a character. There's a point where you can still play the game. It's still something that you can do if you really wanted to. If I gave a paraplegic old grandpa my phone, loaded him up with that man and that man only, and told him just to press buttons and have fun, I guarantee he would win at least 5 matches before somebody disconnects. That's not a good thing because this asshole's whole deal is one, he has an AoE green. So if your opponent whiffs, if they don't do anything, or if you just go up to them and you crank it, it looks like they're getting comboed. And even worse, he has a custom gauge which counters every single act in the game. You can't strike him, you can't blast him, you can't tap arts, you can't tap blast, you can't blue card, you can't range blue card, you can't even ultimate the motherfucker. Literally any option that you have that would hit him, if his gauge is full, it will automatically just activate and boom. No longer your combo now. You didn't hit him, actually. You're the entire screen away now. You got to do all that shit all over again. And it was truly, truly a painful experience. Even worse with the fact that he was one of 3 characters in the entire game. Mind you, there is at least 200 to 300 characters in this fucking game. Just one of 3 characters in this entire game to have a ultimate that has you tap it rapidly to increase its power. Anyone with an auto clicker had a guaranteed one shot to literally any one of your opponent's characters at all. You didn't even need the auto clicker half the time. If you just had a fast finger, you would just wipe somebody out with no consequence. And there wasn't shit you could do about it. And you know what? At that point, people just stopped. People just stopped trying. People stopped trying to fight. We had like a little moment of peace. People knew at some point if they just overpower Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta before he gets like any amount of defense, he was just fodder. He couldn't do shit. He was just like a counter merchant. But we had ways to go around him. And then Majin Vegeta came along. I genuinely cannot undermine. People hate Majin Vegeta. Nobody else on this list has gotten the amount of hate this one single Vegeta unit has gotten, and it fucking astounds me. I'm not surprised about it either, because the hate is deserved. It's a character that has an automatic blast counter up to 3 times that automatically draws a blue card every single time that it activates. So you just wipe out a party member every single time they hit you, just like 2 or 3 times, and then ever so coincidentally has a blast that they hit you with. And then AoE green, as per usual with like every good character, they just have to have a green card that not only buffs them but pushes your opponent away. And then an ultimate that is an AoE on the entire team, which means one character, if you're one character that gets touched by that ultimate, can't tank it, the entire rest of your party is going to get dropped to like damn near 1 HP in the bench. And nobody can handle that shit neither. Not one. Unless they're Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But at that point, like, nobody was trying to run him. Yellow against purple was a horrible, horrible, horrible look for this motherfucker. But Majin Vegeta genuinely got so much like negative pushback from the entire community that people set up an entire day where they would do nothing but run mono red teams, which was his weakness color. So no matter what, they would always have an advantage. And then that would attempt to push Majin Vegeta out of meta. And it didn't work either. It didn't do a fucking thing, actually. At least, to my knowledge, like 2,000 plus people were doing this shit, and it made zero difference whatsoever. People went on like as if nothing happened the exact next day, and not a thing changed. We got new characters, and those new characters, they didn't even need to be on their own teams anymore. You just put that new character, second new character, run them with Majin Vegeta. Why the hell not? It doesn't matter if they have literally 0 links in common. They're just good characters. They don't need links anymore to be good. They just need to have amazing kits that literally nobody can beat. And that's exactly why Dragon Ball Legends is dog shit, and this game has been sucking me dry. Mind you, this is only like a fucking fraction of the game's problems. These are just the units by themselves. The game itself is a fucking nightmare. Like the What's a good example? Oh, I know, an amazing example. The fact that there's only one cooperative mode in the entire fucking game. A game literally made to fight other people, and we don't have something more than just raid bosses that happens every single like 2 weeks roughly. They don't change anything. The only thing people do them for is the in-game currency. The in-game currency that we are actively being scammed out of, because every single time we get a new update, the way to get this in-game currency, chrono crystals, drops so goddamn significantly at this point that we would genuinely be better just starting off a whole brand new ass account and just cranking it from scratch. It's fucking abysmal. Even worse with the fact that nowadays 90, if not 95% of every single one of the characters that you'd want to win just need some sort of equipment to stand any semblance of a chance with any of the new units. So what does that mean? You go to the event, you find the equipment, you grind the equipment until you get a red colored slot in the first slot of 3, and then your next goal is to sit there and stare at the screen while it slowly and meticulously upgrades the last slot until you get a guaranteed red. Because if that last slot isn't red, they're not getting any of the benefits that would make them viable. They're just gonna get like a little smidgen, like a little nullop of fucking dip on their chip. Absolutely nothing to let them stand out. If they went into PvP like that, they would be no better from when they were released. That is bad. That is very fucking bad. Especially considering the fact that 90, if not 95% of that entire roster currently, at this point in which I am speaking, is fucking useless. They changed their motto, more so the way that they want the characters to be shaped, to stop focusing on card draw speed, stop focusing on long combos and the like. But unfortunately, within a month and a half of writing about this decision in their newsletter, mind you, they went back on this decision, never made an update on going back with this decision, released like 4 fucking characters that were made specifically to combo forever, which can't combo forever under the factor that their new moniker literally strips the plan of like comboing anybody forever from the game, because the more cards you use, the more key it will force you to use for the next card, which means infinite combos are a thing of the past. But characters literally built around the fact that you have to infinite combo with them because it is what their kit is made for become obsolete. Because no matter what, even if you infinite combo with them, they will lose their key, they'll lose any option of escape, and they will die to a blue card at 100% for no goddamn reason. It's truly stupid. If anything, I would say, why is this green piece of shit fighting me, bro? If anything, I would say the game is in the darkest state I think it's ever been in its entire lifespan. I've seen at least 5 edging on 6 individual commentary videos about how dog shit the game is right now from some of the biggest names in the community. The people who used to play this game religiously have since dropped the game and started going to other games. You know there's an issue with the game if people are dropping it. A Dragon Ball mobile PvP oriented game to play Dragon Ball League of Legends instead, join that creator program and never look back. It's fucking abysmal. The game gets practically no new content. Every single one of the characters are obsolete until proven unobsolete by either a Zenkai or some sort of platinum equipment like a year and a half after they've been released, or God forbid, they just get like ever so slightly lucky and get a character that can perfectly pair with them. And if they do, they get stuck on bench duty because they're not strong enough to be using the front lines. And bench duty just means that they sit there in the back of the party looking all pretty and shit because they can't do anything for themselves. They sit there and their only main goal is to just buff the characters that are actually fighting, and it is fucking pathetic. Dragon Ball Legends as a whole is a fucking hodgepodge of horrible ideas. The game needed to shut down like ages ago. And at this point, I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed to shut down from the lack of players, the lack of communication with the devs. Literally nothing is going their way anymore, especially now considering that the only chance they have to back any of this up before the entire community just like full body turns on them is whatever they got planned for what is this, the 8th anniversary, like 8th, 9th, I don't fucking know, I stopped counting at some point, but it's some sort of anniversary celebration. If they can't get something good out of this celebration, every single thing that these guys are working for is going to be fuck all, and Dokkan's going to be the only game left to play, which is objectively better in every single way. Nobody's even complaining, but it's in a moment of principle, I would rather be playing actual Dragon Ball game than Dragon Ball Candy Crush, but I get to see the characters do animations ripped straight from the show, but they're reanimated, so no other characters are in the shots. But objectively, Dragon Ball Legends, one of the worst experiences like in history, other than like maybe a couple really obscure versions of Minecraft, like Apple TV Edition, or like some really stupid ass challenge that like what practically impossible. But as it stands, the game is horrible. I honest to God regret playing it for this long. I'm too far in to back out now, but at this point, I'm probably just better off selling my account while it's fresh and then raking in that money. But at some point, Dragon Ball Legends is going to die, probably somewhere soon in the near future, but time's only going to tell.